Thank you very much for inviting me to be here. And let's just take just a moment just to let go of that talk. So just eyes closed and breathing in and out. Okay, so this is going to be quite a practical session, and I'm going to be getting you doing some things, and to yourself and to other people. You're all thinking about that joy of sex bit. Well, it's not quite like that. I'm sorry, but it's, that's tomorrow's talk. So I would like you, first of all, to take out your... I hope, by the way, you haven't eaten that notepad that you were given, right? So can you take out your notepad? And isn't that so satisfying? We have a click together. And it's like patters of raindrops just coming down. Just listen to it. Just listen. And imagine it's raindrops. And for somebody in row H, seat number 6, who still hasn't got it open yet, okay, so I want you to draw a line down the first page. Draw a line down. And on the left-hand side of the page, I would like you to write down what your unique, one and only meaning in your life is. What absolutely in the depths of your being is your purpose on earth? What are you about when you are at your very deepest, truest? So that goes on the left-hand side. Don't look at me, because I don't know the answer. I'm just a teacher. Teachers don't know the answers. Look it up. Okay. So you are doing something that you probably do every day, which is to reflect on, why am I here on earth? Because you need to think about this. Go on to the next page. And again, on the left-hand side now, I want you to write down what you think education is. So, at its best, what should education be for? You know, how many of you were at schools? Okay. How many of you have children? Hands down. How many of you know people who had children? What is schools ideally for? Sum it up. What should be happening at schools? If I wander around, will this still pick up?
Near the stage.
Yeah, okay. So writing down on this second sheet of paper on the left-hand side, what do you think that schools ideally should be doing? Because you must all think about this. You all consciously or unconsciously reflect on your own school experience. Okay. So this is on the left-hand side of the second page. Now, okay, have you done that?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I was told that you are an amazingly bright audience, possibly the best conference audience ever in the history of mankind, was the kind of background briefing I got about you. Now, go back to the first page on meaning of your life. And on the right-hand side, the other side of the page, I want you to talk about what your life is actually, what is dominating your waking thoughts and anxieties and whole world. What actually is your sum up there, your big three things that are absolutely taking possession of your life. What in reality, not the ideal, what in reality is your life about? What might your best friends, not so good friends, say that your life is about? The more honest you can be, the more useful. Really be completely honest with yourself. And now come on to the second sheet of paper, the education. And I want you now, reflecting back on your own experience or your kids' experience or your sister's kids' experience or neighbour's kids' experience, if you don't have children yourself at school, what is the reality, wherever you live in the world, of school systems? What's the reality of school systems? You know, what are schools? What are the drivers in schools? Cut out the soft, fuzzy padding. What in reality is driving schools? And let's just take somebody, let's take education first, a bit easier. Who thinks that they've got a pretty summative, clear idea on what schools really are, ideally should be about? What can and should schools be about? Okay, there are two of you there. Okay, tell us.
Good afternoon. Well, I'm a mother, and my daughter is here with me, so...
Which is lovely. And her name is...
Daughter. I'm the mother, she's my daughter.
Yep.
That's what I meant. So anyway, but both ways, anyway.
Yep.
Sometimes she's my mother, too. That's what I meant. So, well, from my experience, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes they are overstressed, too much homework.
So what ideally should schools be about?
The ideal is first.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. The teaching of self-love.
Teaching of self-love.
Yes.
Yep.
Which will bring self-compassion.
Self-compassion.
And self-connection.
Self-connection.
With ourselves and nature and our environment around.
Okay, so connectedness with oneself, with other people,
yes, and
with the environment. Can you hand back just behind you? Do you want to add anything there on the ideal of education?
Sure, I think it's very much aligned, but I wrote down here just human flourishing.
Human flourishing, and helping us truly to understand who we are and what our purpose might be in the world, and what is best in the sum total of human wisdom, and to connect with that. And what's the reality? What have you written down for the reality?
Teaching conformism.
Teaching conformism. I think we can actually belt this out. What else have we got? Conformism. Compliance. Or just maybe just one at a time. Hey, look, I'm a teacher, so hands up. I just love it. Love it. Okay, yes. No, you were talking earlier, so I'm not going to have you. Go on. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Competition. What else? Yep. What? Bullying. Okay, got that. Yep. Yes, up here. Grades. Absolutely. The world over. Yes.
Reproduce facts.
Okay. Yeah. And one other one. Social control. Okay. So look, it all begins in school, and the purpose this talk is about mindfulness and education. Education is what is happening to you in your lives. You are on a life journey, whether you realize it or not. Thoreau, the American, said, most men and women lead lives of quiet desperation and go to their graves with their song still inside them. And you may well know that. It might well have come up, the quotation, in the last few speeches here. Our job is to discover our song, our unique song, amongst everybody on earth, and nobody can do that but ourselves. Others can help, but we have to discover that, and the role of education is to help discover that in people. So come now, and all of you are being educated. If you think that your education stopped with university or at 16 or whatever age you led school, then that is part of the failure of education. Education the world over is becoming a factory process, a process of industrialization where children join in at the age of 3 or 4 and they travel along the conveyor belt and bits of knowledge are added into them and they leave at 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 off that factory line. Teachers who should be highly prized, rewarded, respected professionals are just machine operatives. They are de-skilled, they are infantilized. Children themselves are infantilized. There's a notion that at 18 or 16 or 21, if you go to university, you've then done your education. Completely wrong. Education, it just is lifelong, and education is about helping you on that first part of the journey, on the first page. Go to the first page now, and who has an exact match between your left and right hand columns, between what your hands up, who has a match in what your life you want it to be, and who has a mismatch between what your life can and should be and what in reality it is. Hands up. Okay. So on your first, on the page where you were looking at your meaning of life, and you were talking about what your meaning of life is, who thinks that you are currently fully discovering and unveiling the true meaning in your life? And hands up who thinks that they need to do more or a lot more to get there. Okay, and I'd certainly put my own hand up there. I would certainly put my own hand up there. There is much more that I can be doing. Now, what then is the role of mindfulness in helping us to get onto our journey? It's this. It's this. Mindfulness gets us back in touch with reality. Reality is something that we are out of touch because we are living in our heads, and the head is constantly turning and constantly spinning. So what I want you to do now is I want you just to leave whatever you have on your laps. I want you to sit upright. I'm not going to take you through a mindfulness exercise because you've done enough of this. Though I begin all my sessions with kids and with teachers with 2-minute silence. Imagine you and your own companies, you and your own families, if you began each time that you gather together with moments of silence. Think how much more fruitful that would be. So I'm wanting you now just to just sit there in silence. And now if you want to, and do move together, I know that you put your arms around each other. This time I want you to just move together if you want to. You don't have to, if you're worried about catching something off somebody else, you probably shouldn't be here. But do move together. If not, move together. And I want you to put your arms around each other with your eyes closed. With your eyes closed, I want you to put your arms around each other. Okay, and I just want you to notice, just keep the breathing, eyes closed, keep the breathing deep. I want you just to notice any change that you notice inside yourself. And I want you now to just imagine, that you are being massaged and that you are being, in an asexual way, that you're being massaged and you're being really looked after and loved. I just want you to feel that. I want you to feel that you are being perfectly cared for by somebody who is loving, attentive, present, fully present with you. And keeping the eyes closed, I just want you very gently, but very mindfully, just to stroke the back of the person you have the arms round. Just very gently. Just very gently, and carefully and lovingly, just, my eyes are closed. I have absolutely no idea what you're doing. I have absolutely no idea. I have no idea if you're still there. My eyes are completely closed. It's a kind of respect thing. So I have no idea. So you just mindfully feel now the texture on your hand of the back of the person, whatever clothing they're wearing. Just feel that in your fingertips and the palm of your hand. So when you're just gently, just affirmingly, just touching and stroking that person lovingly, just feel that. And talk to that person through your hands. Your hands are talking to them. And they are spreading love and peace and acceptance. Acceptance. You're accepting them. They're accepting your touch. They're accepting themselves. The acceptance of ourselves is the beginning, or a beginning, of deep levels of happiness. And accepting the love from others and the support from others. Just notice any difference. So I'm not doing a mindfulness exercise because we've done those. I've just tried something else. Notice if you feel any different and gently bring your hands back. Unless you were having a very, very good time. So, okay. Now, I've said there that, it is open to all of us every second of every day, waking and sleeping, to feel this sense of complete love and joy and acceptance. We can ask ourselves, what's stopping us? We could talk about that, but for now I just want to get this sense of the five senses. And can you take your orange? And I want you to... I'm saying, we're all saying, everybody's saying, you all know this, that we have to try to live, we all have to try to live more in the present. To live in the present means that we need to connect with the senses, through the five senses, and this helps us to see other people, to see the truth, to understand things deeply, whether business or whether a friend in need or whether a child or an elderly parent. The levels of depths of understanding that we can have and experience, the level and depths of communication are beyond imagination. And to do that, we just need to be present. And to be present, we need to learn to connect with the present moment and let go of the thoughts about the future and about the past, to see that that's what's happening, and then just to let it go and just to come back here now, in the present. So with this exercise here, you'll have done this before. It doesn't matter if you've done it 100 times. This is the first time in your lives that you have addressed this orange or nectarine. Now, the first thing I want you to do is just look at the colour of it, and look at the colour as if you have never seen it before, and celebrate the colour and colours on it. And while you're doing that, connect to the hearing, the sounds in this room of other people, and so we're using the ears, and we're looking at the eyes and seeing the colour. And now just touch it, and just put the fingers, just feel it, feel the shape, and just feel that acute sensitivity in the tips of the fingers with the orange. Be there in the present. That orange is a better teacher than any human being you will ever meet in life. And what you're going to do is eat it. How can you do that? So this is your teacher. So you are listening, you are looking, you are touching. And now break into it gently and knowingly. You have a napkin. Knowingly and mindfully, keeping the listening broad, break into it and smell the peel. 1 second. Let's have a whole conference-wide smell. So don't smell it yet. We're going to have a kind of orgasmic union of smelling. All right. So 1, 2, 3, and just smell it, and smell it as if you have never smelt it before, and somewhere deep inside you there will be an understanding that this is perfection, complete perfection, that this is perfect. And then, so we have touched, we're listening, we've looked, we've smelled. Now just break it open, and don't immediately, just get a single piece of it, a single segment. Notice the saliva in the mouth. Notice what's happening physically to you. And before we taste it, it's this sense that, and imagine doing this with children. Imagine mindful eating with children. Imagine how, think of the noise that you remember in your refectories at school, whatever you call them, canteens, kitchens. Actually, for children, their digestion would be much... Don't eat yet. Their digestion... Oh, my goodness. I don't believe that you've done that. And, okay, just hold back. You know all the Marty Seligman stuff, if you follow positive psychology, about how delayed gratification is a much better predictor of somebody's outcome in life than their intelligence. Those people who've tasted these things already... okay, early flight out. So what you should have now, had I been any good at this exercise, you should have a piece of fruit in your hand. And if you've already tasted it, it doesn't matter at all. But before you eat it, and I think it would be good if we just closed our eyes when eating it and just place it, if you can remember where your mouth is. If that's a challenge, keep the eyes open. But the point here is let's just, before doing that, let's just have a deep breath in, just letting go of the moving thought. So in your own time, rising and falling. And with the eyes closed and in your own time, just put that piece of fruit in your mouth and taste it totally knowingly, totally aware. And by the way, you don't have to let go of the sound. You can be aware of all the senses at the same time, but totally knowing that you are having that, and taste it as if you have never tasted that fruit, or indeed any fruit, before. Knowing eating, mindful eating. So if you do that in your own time. And just notice. Now, let me just say this in conclusion, that what matters in schools is what we as parents, or we as friends, or we as aunts and uncles, or whatever your relationship is, what we encourage to see happening, what could and should be happening in every school, is mindfulness. Have we come across the .B program? Has that been talked about yet? Can I just mention the .B program, which is just a dot and then a B, lowercase b, which is the Mindfulness in Schools program. .B it's called, and what happens there is the young people are encouraged to dot means stop or pause, and B is breathe. Have you come across Fothbok with them yet? Right. Just Fothbok, F-O, which means F-O-F, feet on the floor, F-O-F, feet on the floor, and just luxuriate in the sense of the feet on the floor and letting the tension, the soles of the feet, like the fingers, are so wonderful. And so F-O-F and then B-O-C, B-O-C, and that is bum on chair. Okay, so Fothbok. Now you can do this in your own offices, you can do it with your own children. Look up the .B website for Mindfulness in Schools, pioneered by two wonderful teachers in Britain, Chris Cull and Richard Burnett, and .B and Fothbok, F-O-F-B-O-C. And not only for yourselves, practice Fothbok regularly, but why don't you try, if you don't already do this, maybe you do, in your own meetings, to begin every meeting, like every school meeting, should begin with a few moments of silence. So it allows everyone to collect themselves and to be the best version of themselves, the best that they can be. Otherwise, we're driven, aren't we, by this activity up here. It's often very reactive. It's going on all the time. And we give much less of ourselves. We see it in sport, and in sport, we use a lot of it in sport in our school, where they are mindful when they are catching balls or hitting hockey sticks. When you are mindful, or when you're playing an instrument, if you are mindful, you are truly giving of the best that you can give, which is all we ever want for any child, instead of their mind being fully like this and getting in the way. So mindfulness in schools, growing all the time, for all of you, in your own families, in your own lives, practice it as much as possible. The same techniques of .B, just stop and take a deep breath. Wherever you are, stop, and particularly if you sense that you're agitated, do that, and your lives will be transformed. And finally, if you can get the children learning about this, it's like languages, you know. I mean, I find languages really difficult. The earlier you start with languages, the easier to learn. You all know that with bilingual children. The earlier we start helping them with mindfulness, then it's ingrained in them. And it's a wonderful gift for life. And the more you will do it, the more they will do it. So it begins with all of you, all of us. It's a time just for one question, maybe, before we go. Does anyone have a belt a question out? Anybody on that? Yes. Yes. Okay, we have a mic. I'm a teacher. I just love balls. Oh. And yeah, okay. So we'll take one question.
Never sit there.
And just to say this point also, you know, the meaning of your life. Why do so many people? Sorrow is right. Why do so many people? I've been to a lot of funerals in the last 2-3 months. Why do so many people in life go to their graves with their songs still inside them? It is because they haven't themselves found the stillness. When you're still, the depths of your meaning in life come up to the surface. And the more that you can be still, the more you'll help people around you to come up and get that left-hand side of the question rather than the right-hand side of the paper. Yep.
Yeah. You just share a beautiful way of relating with kids, to my eyes, like something. The earlier we start, the more it becomes ingrained in their way of being, right? Yeah. To me, it's beautiful. And maybe you've got niece or daughters or something. What kind of practice do you practice to make sense in English? What kind of practice?
Yes, no, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Let's keep it terribly.
What practice do you do with them?
We'll keep it very, very simple. Children, adults never get this. Teachers never get it. They never listen to what we say as parents and as teachers and adults. They listen to what we do and who we are. So that's why so much religion goes wrong, because it's all like that, but then people lead rotten lives themselves, or lives that are full of status and power. They're desperate to become an imam or a bishop or a rabbi or a priest, or so children who are so much wiser than any of us see things with an incredible simplicity. So if we in our own lives are simple and honest and direct. My deputy head father died at the weekend, and she said she had this fantastic conversation with him where they really talked, and she said there was but nothing that I didn't say to him that I would have wanted to say to him, because she's been part of a still environment where she has helped her own stillness, and that connects you to the depths inside yourself. So rather than, oh my God, he's dying, what am I going to do, the funeral, I'm upset, and all that, there was just this deep connectedness. So with children, keep it very simple and just have them before a meal, before going out, just sitting down and just breathing deeply. And if you do it with intent, they don't laugh, they like it. They absolutely like it. And then it will give them that sense that all their life they can have this default position of coming back to an inner sense of tranquility and self-possession. Last story. Our daughter went off just a short while ago to Vietnam to work in a school helping underprivileged young children. First night, she phoned up in a complete panic, and I got her doing breathing exercises to she was bloody miles from anywhere, and she'd forgotten this and that. And we did breathing exercise. I calmed her down. And I felt like saying to her, for God's sake, who is your father? And even worse, who was your head teacher? Well, you will guess that I was her father, but I was also her head teacher. And so, I'm learning all the time and doing it. Actually, that was 7 years ago. It is honest. And it was back in 2006. I've learnt a lot since then, and by doing it, keeping it very simple, just breathing exercises, sitting around in a circle, and they'll see that you are stiller, and they'll notice things. They'll notice the quality of relationships change, the quality of interactions, the enjoyment of what they do, the pleasure they take in simple things, the pleasure they take from interactive games and activities, having meals as opposed to the solitary masturbatory sense of being with a computer game or with a screen on their own. It's a very pro-social thing also. It's a pro-communication. It's a pro-loving sense. The stiller we are, the more we celebrate and enjoy the communion. And of course, what they learn ultimately is that the other is me, that there is just us, and that us is love. I'll finish there.